What's going on, everyone? Climate Data Report here with the Sunday Climate Data Report for Sunday, March 5th, 2023. This is the first video on our new spin-off channel. A lot of you may remember me from Data Report, and I have decided to split off all climate and weather data onto its own channel, and plus some new content that I'm going to be adding on this channel in the form of weather education. But for today, for our first video, we're going to talk about the climate and weather situation. So first, let's take a look at the national satellite imagery here. And as you can see here, the eastern U.S. is finally quiet east of the Mississippi. However, up here in the northern plains, there is a system that we are watching. And that system is going to spread some snow across northern plains, then spreading over into Minnesota and portions of Wisconsin, with 3 to 6 inches of snow expected. After that remains a big question mark as to what's going to happen when it crosses the Great Lakes and goes into New York or Pennsylvania. There's some real discrepancy on the models, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The West Coast, as you can see here, there is a system coming on shore. More snow for California. Taking a look at the National Hazards Map, here's the winter weather advisories and even winter storm warnings in the Dakotas, where that 3 to 6 inches of snow is expected. We have red flag warnings up for Texas, Oklahoma, western Kansas, eastern Colorado, and portions of New Mexico, where there is a fire threat for today. Portions of California, winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories are up as more snow is expected. Taking a look at some storm reports from the past storm. On Thursday, there was a moderate risk in portions of Texas and Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Well, there were 16 tornadoes reported, 143 wind reports, 31 hail reports, 190 reports total. I would say that would be about borderline verification for the moderate risk. So we'll say yes, it did verify. And now here on Friday, where I was expecting an enhanced risk to be added, and sure enough, one was, and boy did that ever perform. It was almost moderate risk worthy in some areas where you can see just these huge clusters of wind damage down here across from Mississippi on through to North Carolina. Then another cluster that spread across the Ohio Valley and Kentucky, where total of 12 tornadoes, 278 wind reports, 2 that were really high wind reports, and 1 hail report. Wind was really the main show here. 291 reports total, and there was actually an EF2 tornado just south of Paducah, Kentucky, in Fremont, which is in McCarkin County, Kentucky, and that did cause some significant damage. Good news is next 3 days, no severe weather is expected. The next threat of thunderstorms is going to be on Wednesday in the southern plains, but there could actually be some thunder in Pennsylvania, and I'll explain that in a moment. It's kind of a weird situation that goes on in Pennsylvania. Taking a look at some snowfall totals from Burlington National Weather Service up in the Northeast. Clinton County and Moores, they had 8 inches of snow. In Essex County, Tuscondera, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, 14 inches of snow for you. Franklin County, 6 inches of snow. Richville, which is in St. Lawrence County, 11 inches. Then in Vermont, in Addison County, Waltham had 13 inches of snow. Shoreham had 12.7 inches of snow. In Caledonia County, Stannard had 11 inches of snow. Chittenden County, which is where Burlington is, the 7 inches of snow in southwest Charlotte. Northeast South Burlington had 6.3 inches of snow. Essex County, here you go, here's a jackpot. Maidstone, northwest of Maidstone, had 14 inches of snow. In Franklin County, Georgia Center had 5.5 inches of snow. In East in Owensburg had 9 inches of snow. And finally in Lamoille County, Walcott had 11.9 inches of snow. And let's do one more. Orange County, East Brookfield, another jackpot of 14 inches of snow. Alrighty, I thought I would share this with you, and this comes from the Prison Climate Group, mapped by Brian Brett Schender. I found this on social media on a weather group through Facebook, and I thought this was really interesting. So this is showing winter 2022-2023, December through February, temperature ranking since 1895 to 1896. And look at this. The eastern half of the country, for the majority of it, it's top 25 warmest winter ever. Then you come up here from about Kentucky and Virginia on northeastward, and you have many areas where it's top 10 to even top 5 warmest winters ever. Then you have a few counties in the northeast where it is the warmest winter ever. However, if you flip yourselves to the west coast, for many areas it's top 25 to top 50 coolest winters ever, and some areas you even have top 10 to top 5 coolest winters ever. And I don't see any that made the coolest winter ever, but golly, it's sure close, which it's just unbelievable. The West Coast has been pounded by winter weather while the East Coast has been saying, what's winter? And the temperatures really reflect it here. Alrighty, let's show you that system that's going over the northern plains right now. Here it is on the NAM model. I'm going to show you several different models. Here's the NAM. Watch what happens. You get heavy snow in the Green Bay area tonight. Then this system goes over the Great Lakes. And watch what happens here. Here's your low right over Indiana and Ohio, going essentially over Toledo, Ohio. Watch what happens here. Some convective type precipitation breaks out along this system and goes into Pennsylvania and New York. The NAM has the heaviest being in New York State. Other models have it being more south into Pennsylvania. These are really heavy snow rates with this system. In fact, the snow rates are heavy enough, you could actually get some thunder snow. Remember I said there could be some thunder? Well, here it is. Look what happens here. It actually goes over southeast New York and even close to New York City and southwest Connecticut. But let's switch models here to the FV3 model. We'll start off on the national view. Here's the system over the north. Watch what happens here. It then gains more energy, or convection breaks out across southern Michigan. And watch what happens when it goes into Pennsylvania. Look at that. You get a strung out, really heavy strip of snow. And this is on Monday night going into Tuesday. The Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania, north central Pennsylvania, really get waffled here. And I am going to zoom this in. And this is basically like a Norland streamer, or almost a wintertime version of what we call a mesoscale convective system in the summertime. It's just a really strange system. We don't see these too often, but sometimes if you get a strong piece of energy, which in this case we do, and the conditions are favorable, you can get a strung out area of heavy snow. But I stress extreme caution. Each model is showing a different solution. We don't know where the exact track is going to be, and we don't even know how much snow is going to fall. You want to talk about amounts? Yes, this model shows a small strip from southwest New York through northern Pennsylvania, just north of the I-80 corridor, down into North Jersey of 6 to 10 inches of snow, and there's even a little green strip. The GFS model shows a similar scenario from the Great Lakes on into almost central New Jersey, but we'll say North New Jersey. It shows a really heavy area of snow. Watch how much snow this has. This is just, it's almost laughable. Up around Bradford, PA, it has an 18-inch marker. Now, mind you, this is using a 10-to-1 ratio, which basically ratios that measures the temperature and snowfall, how much liquid can be turned into snow out of an inch of precipitation, and that's how you get 10 to 1. So for 10 to 1, you're talking 10 inches of snow out of 1 inch of liquid. And in this case, that would be 1.8 inches of liquid if it was a true 10 to 1 ratio. And so there's really a discrepancy in the models. I would check back with me again tomorrow, as I'm going to have another update on this. But if you're anywhere from Pennsylvania into New York State, even southeast Pennsylvania, because one model, I'll show it to you here. This would be the RGEM model. Look at this. This actually shows the heavier snow being over State College, coming almost into Reading, Pennsylvania. So we really need to keep an eye on this. Right now, my best guess would be north of Philadelphia area through to about central New York State. Just keep an eye on this, as we know there is going to be a weather maker over the next several days. Then we have this on the longer range guidance. This is the European model, and it is showing a coastal system. Here's your low over the Ohio Valley, and it transfers to the coast. This is for next weekend. It's far out there. The European is showing this. The GFS, I can tell you, is showing a different scenario. It's showing a coastal system, but watch what happens here. It ejects east much faster. Then you have the CMC model, which does not show a coastal system, and it shows a lakes cutter. So just be advised, there is the potential for a bigger system next weekend. They could be a weather maker, but mind you, it's pretty far out there, and we do not want to speculate this far in advance. Take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Well below average temperatures expected in the middle section of the country, with below average temperatures for the rest of the country and near normal temperatures in New England. 8 to 14 day outlook shows below average temperatures for a majority of the country, which is something we have not seen much of this winter. Alrighty, that does it for today's climate and weather outlook. Again, thank you for checking out our new channel here. And if you like what you see on this channel, hit the like and subscribe button down below. We will have another update on that system either tonight or tomorrow morning. Stay safe, everyone.